Good evening, everybody. Welcome to That's a Great Question podcast. That's almost like a ritual now.
I think so. Yeah, I think it is. I think you're right.
So, want to hear a story real quick before we start?
Sure.
There was a group of people that decided they wanted to do a behavioral psychology study. So, what they did is they set up a waiting room and they started inviting people in under some sort of pretense that it was like a doctor or something, I believe. And what they did is they had an agent, a person who was in on it, I guess you would say, sitting in the room already. And as people filed in, I think it was every 15 minutes or something, or every 10 minutes, they set it up so that the clock on the wall would actually tick loud. And every time the clock ticked, their person would stand up and then sit back down. And then every time it happened, he would stand up and then sit back down. Well, pretty soon, the other people were noticing this and they're like, well, should we be doing that too? You know, nobody spoke out loud, but, you know, they're thinking to themselves. So pretty soon it became they would stand up and sit down as well every time this clock ticked. And then as more people came in, now their agent person left. And all these people were not only there's a two-part study, because not only was everybody standing up and sitting down every time this clock ticked loudly, but also none of the people were paying attention to the fact that they were there for hours past the time that this supposed appointment was. And that was part of the test as well, to see how long people would actually put up with this before they had a break from it and said screw it and leave. Yep. And it went on for quite a while. It's actually pretty astounding.
That's the human nature.
How much people put up with.
The experiment was actually modeled off of one of Joe Biden's rallies.
Was it?
I think so. Yeah, I think so.
It's like when somebody looks up at the sky.
I would have to disagree. I think the experiment was smarter than Joe Biden's rallies.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Hey, another fun one
class is smarter than Joe Biden's rallies.
That's it. Another fun one that I like to do. I'm real big into psychology. I love studying people and you know what people will put up with or not put up with, etc. And one of the things that I like to do is I will go to somewhere like Walmart or Publix or whatever, at night in the evening, but I still like to say good morning to people. And a lot of people think I'm being funny when I do it, but the reality is that Dr. Burns, there's a guy in psychology whose name is Dr. Burns, and he came up with what's called the theory of transactional analysis, that people tend to view themselves based on how they see the rest of the world. And so they come up with these life positions where they say, well, I'm okay, you're not okay, which means I think I'm better than you, or you're okay, I'm not okay, which means I think I'm not worthy of everybody else, or I'm okay, you're okay. And there's all these variations of it, but there's four prominent variations. So when you say good morning to people in the evening, you get your four major responses. You get some people will say good morning back, not even think twice about it, because frankly, they don't give a shit.
That's me.
Then you get people that will say good morning back, but smile, indicating that they know that you're full of it, but they find it as amusing as you do. Usually those are your well-adjusted people. Then you get the people that will correct you and they'll say good evening back, just to let you know, hey, you're wrong.
Right.
And then you get my favorite. The fourth one is my favorite. They'll follow you around until you damn well agree that it's not morning.
You always got morning. Yeah, I know. I'm just doing it to irritate you. Just leave me alone.
Yeah, just leave me alone.
Oh, jeez.
I do my show at 11 o'clock in the morning. So to me, it's still morning. Or so I say, good morning, welcome to the PTP podcast. So, but it's 2:00 on the East Coast.
Yeah, it's
So
1 o'clock from Atlanta.
Whatever. Anyway, let me say hello to everybody up in the chat before we get started doing whatever it is the hell that we're doing. Disco Daphne, welcome. Thank you for posting over there on YouTube. Appreciate that. Light Spear, what's going on? Salty Nuts, Slanty Chauffeur Bear, what's happening? Let's see. Warrior in the Gardens here. Zombie 5. Zombie 5. Yeah, that's about it so far. That's it so far. And then over on the YouTubes, Genghis. And there's a bunch of people over there, probably on X, but I can't see nobody with nobody's chatting. So welcome to DLive X, YouTube, and of course, Pill.net. So, how are we all doing today? I had to go get friggin' immunotherapy this morning.
Oof.
Which was not fun. It just wasn't fun this morning. And the ride home was even worse. But 76 red pills is there. But I made it here tonight, so that's all good. Warrior, I saw your show this morning before I left, and you were talking about you moved into a new place, a new studio.
Oh, all I did was just I rotated in my room.
Oh, you rearranged.
So I just rearranged it. Yeah. So
Okay,
now
while
it's
you were doing it.
Is that why I was doing it?
No, did you sit while you were doing it? That way you sit and rotate. Ha 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 ha. You're welcome.
There it is. Yeah, there it is. That's my favorite.
The cheese is free, man. The cheese is free.
So yeah, you just moved the camera.
Yeah, I just moved. Well, my desk actually was right here where you can hear my my workbench. My desk was over there, and then my workbench was over here, over to my left, and I had a shelf system right in front of me, and I just moved the shelf system over here. My desk facing the north, and then my desk over here. Put in better lighting and stuff like that. So I needed something that had a little more feng shui to the room. It was a little more. Yeah, it just one side of the room was very clumped up, and I'm like, this doesn't feel right. I can do better. And my lighting was sucking too, and my monitors were too high, and so I lowered my monitors a little bit. And I went crazy yesterday.
High.
Yep. What's up, Spaz?
How are you?
Hey, Mrs. PTP's in the house. Oh, okay. So check this out real quick. So we're driving to Santa Monica this morning, right? We're on the freeway, and you know how Mrs. PTP does not like Teslas.
Oh boy,
right?
Or Priuses.
She really doesn't like Priuses either. But I found out she really, really doesn't like Tesla SUVs. The reason why is because I'm sitting there and I'm looking over at that, she's driving. I'm looking out the window and she goes, "Oh, look at this fuck box."
Hey, she's a poet. She should write for Hallmark.
I'm telling you. I'm like, "What did you just say?" She goes, "Look, it's a fuck box." I'm like, I can't see what it is. She goes, "It's a Tesla SUV." I said, "So you call them a fuck box?" She goes, "Yeah." She goes, "It's a goddamn Prius, a fucking Tesla, and a fuck box."
And a fuck box.
Okay. I look at the design of that shit, and it's like Teslas in general. It's like he's trying to, make cars. I mean, they still stock, but cars nonetheless. But then you look at the Tesla truck or the SUV. That looks like that's his masturbatory fantasy for Mars vehicles.
Yeah, we saw one of those this morning too. One of those Cybertrucks.
Have you guys seen the the compilation of the Tesla truck
Cool.
fails.
Oh yeah,
Have you seen those videos? It's on TikTok or wherever.
Yeah.
I think they're hilarious.
I like the
They-
one that gets stuck in the snow.
oh, it's great. The tires are just spinning like a 2-wheel drive vehicle.
Like
Like you
nothing's
fucking
happening.
idiot, you moron. Jeez Louise.
Yeah, I told April this morning because we saw the Cybertruck go by, and I'm like, the top of the line Cybertruck is like $130,000.
It's
They're
ridiculous.
not cheap. And I said, if you look inside of them, they're not anything special. As a matter of fact, they're really shitty, and they don't hold their value. I said, what would you rather have? A electric Cybertruck, or a King Ranch version of an F-350 pickup truck that's got
Dualies.
fucking dualies in the back,
Yes.
alligator seats,
Yes.
just top of the line wood,
Chinchilla
Beautiful.
trim.
everything beautiful. Probably for $50,000 less. It's the only reason why you got a Cybertruck is because you got fuck you money.
Is it me, or does the Cybertruck seem like a modern day version of the DeLorean?
It's exactly what it is.
I mean, it has that metal, that brushed metal look to it as well.
That's what it is.
And that's
sheet
kind
metal.
of, yeah, just turn it around and you have the DeLorean.
Yeah, that's what he
'cause-
based it
'cause-
off of.
Oh my, I didn't know that. I did.
Yeah.
Honestly, I had no, I just put two and two together because I don't really think about Tesla trucks. I think if you have one, you have a vagina instead of a penis. But
Yeah.
you know,
It's basically metal. It's stainless steel. It's not painted. It's not nothing. It's just stainless steel. Same as
That's
the
so
DeLorean.
If you drive really, really fast, you can time travel into the future exactly 1 hour,
Good.
so,
Tell
right?
that to April.
which
Maybe-
is about how long it takes you to get across there in good traffic.
Yeah, tell that to her. Maybe they'll all disappear. Yeah. What's up, Spaz? How you doing?
Oh man, the heat got to me today, man.
It was
Oh,
hot
no.
out today.
It
I
was.
heard it was
brutal over here.
warm in other areas. Yeah,
Yeah, I went home.
wasn't
early.
very warm here today, but it was
Well,
raining
it's
all
like
day.
middle of a hurricane.
No, no, I'm that's Arkansas. Missouri is just north of Arkansas, and we got a lot of their the system came up, and we got some of the arm, and we just got dumped by a bunch of rain, which is needed in our area. We need the rain for sure, and I appreciate it, but it's
Yeah, because I heard you say it didn't rain for a while, and then all of a sudden you got 5 inches.
we went almost 2 weeks without a single day of rain and at 90-degree temperatures, and so it pretty much dried everything out.
Oh,
And then, like I said before, I was waiting to get like 2 days of rain and then 3 days of dryness, so I could put my plants in the ground. And I finally was able to do that on Friday. And now that we have all the rain came in, and we're supposed to have a little bit of rain tonight, and then the next 6-7 days, nothing but just clouds and sunshine.
Cool.
So it'll be fun. So this Friday, as
Yeah.
a matter of fact, I'm gonna go live again like I did last Friday and just show you guys the progress.
Mhm.
Go down, show you the phenotypes and everything else, and tell you what I'm putting in the soil and the mixture of the water and yada yada yada. So
Right.
just another
You see,
show to add to
I
my
may
list.
not comment all the time, but I watch your guys' show all the time.
Yeah.
It's just like
I
yesterday,
figured one of them.
I couldn't figure out who the hell Spaz was talking to last night. I had no idea. I still don't have any idea who you were talking to on your show.
Eh,
It
most
was
of the time,
probably a business meeting with one of his other personalities. I
Well,
do that
no.
all the time.
It was Mandatory Metal Monday.
Mm.
But who were you talking to?
Energio.
Oh, okay. Energy. Okay, I got you. Yeah, I couldn't figure it out. I don't know.
I haven't got the levels just right yet.
And then, of course, I listen to Reverend Rant all the time when I need to go to sleep.
Speaking of shows,
Oh,
Actually,
see you
not
doing
for
a show.
nothing, and I don't mean this in any kind of derogatory way or anything, but after I do my show in the morning, I'll go into the bedroom and lay down with my tablet, and at 2:30 my time, I'll put on Woke Societies, and I'll get through probably the first half hour or so, and then I'm waking up around 4 o'clock when he's just starting to end the show. And that's no reflection on him. That's just, if I'm tired, that's when I'm sleeping.
Yeah.
And so I'm always listening to woke societies. So anyway,
Well, that hurts my feelings. I'm gonna cry.
you only have one feeling, so
No. I actually have 10 feelings because you know how I really feel with my fingers.
with all your fingers.
Oh,
Yeah.
I thought it was that loving feeling that you only have.
No. I do.
I've lost that loving feeling.
Oh,
I do
sad.
mammograms by braille too.
Very nice. Very nice. I do oral exams with breast exams. So, okay, I'll stop. I'll before I get in trouble.
Right.
If the breast is this.
Right. Mrs. PTP is going to like slap me through the monitor or something,
Nah. Anyway, let's see. Is there anything specific that you guys or anybody would like to discuss? Because there's been so many different bullshit things happening over the last week. I don't even know where to start.
I know where to start. I know where to start. Let's start
Take
with
us
the
away.
Veep stakes.
The what?
The Veep stakes.
Oh, okay.
Who's it gonna be? Who's it gonna be?
Well, it's not going to be Gavin Newsom. I'll tell you that.
You don't
Because
think Trump's
I saw
gonna
a
pick Gavin
video.
Newsom for VP?
VP. I'm sorry.
Yeah, the vice president.
Vice president.
Yeah, not who's going to take over Kamala Harris, but like in
Yeah.
2025.
Well, let me tell you this real quick. I saw a video of people that were from Nevada, Arizona, Texas, Tennessee, Florida, and they all said, "Would you vote for Gavin Newsom for president?" And they all said, "Fuck no. We're all California transplants. We would never vote for Gavin Newsom." Just think about how many people in the country have moved from California away from Gavin Newsom's bullshit here, and they expect him to win a presidential race. But anyway, I thought that was interesting.
No. You know what? You know what really done Gavin in? I mean, the obvious stuff, of course. All the
I can
obvious
think
stuff.
of a lot of things.
The real railroad spike to the forehead for him was the Jillian Michaels interview. You guys ever watch that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe, probably, but I don't know names very well.
I remember that. And yes, you're probably absolutely right. Hold on one second. Jim Bob, I got your card. Thank you very much, brother. I appreciate it. More than you'll ever know. Thank you. I think that there's besides that interview, it's a combination of a lot of things about Gavin Newsom, and it has nothing to do with COVID. Our gas tax has just risen 2 cents starting this month. So now there's an average of 78 cents tax on every gallon of gas right off the top.
Ooh,
We have, what do you call it?
that's harsh.
A surcharge on all restaurants.
So
So when you go into a restaurant, you buy your food, whatever, and there's a 10% surcharge on the total of the bill.
do you think that Gavin is going to get lung cancer?
God, I hope not.
Well, the reason
don't
I
wish
ask
shit on anybody.
is I wonder if he smokes a cigarette every time he gets done screwing you that hard.
Well, probably. Yeah,
God.
maybe. But
The surcharge.
Come to
mean
Florida,
like
baby.
free
Come to Florida, Pete. We got room for you here.
I know,
and
I know.
Florida's got a butt ton of doctors. We got you covered.
Cool. What's that, Spaz?
That says, does surcharge mean pre-rape?
Free rape?
Pre-rape,
Oh,
before you get raped.
Yeah.
Rape before the rape. And then you get the post-rape where they just rape you a little more.
Just, yeah.
I'm
They
sure
stick it in a little deeper.
Right.
I'm sure there's choking involved.
It's just a little bit, maybe a little slap and tickle at the end. Who knows?
It was supposed to end. The surcharge was for COVID. It was supposed to end this month. Me and April were just talking about this on the way to the doctor this morning. And because Gavin Newsom has so many friends in the restaurant business that he kept it on for another year. So next July, it'll expire until he renews it again. So
You
every
know what they're
time
doing?
we go out to eat at a restaurant, a sit-down restaurant, they charge us 10%
It's a gratuity
they're
on top
doing?
right there.
plus
You know
tip.
what they're doing in my county? My county, in the reddest part of Florida. I'm in rural farmland, bright red flowing blood. We will kill you in your shit red. Supposedly,
Mhm.
the lady who was actually elected as Secretary of Elections suddenly, and I mean very suddenly, said, "Oh well, I got to bow out," and she left, and not a word, gone. And the guy that's taking it over is our last sheriff's son, which there was a lot of question about him. And then all of a sudden now it's, oh well, we got to go back to mail-in ballots too. They're sending out mail-in ballots, and then they're even considering going ahead and sending them via email. Like, have you not paid attention in the slightest in the last few years? Have you not paid attention? But they're doing that here. So anybody that tries to say, well, the left is doing this and the left is doing that, let me tell you something. I live in a really red county, and we're a sanctuary city too. They're
Great.
just not saying it out loud. They cater to the ranchers. All the dairies use Mexicans here, and they cater to it. So anybody that says that this is a right and left issue, I'm sorry, it's not.
I know. It never has been,
No.
in my opinion.
This is the good old boys, the elitists who want to keep power, and everybody else.
Yep. Okay, so now that I side railed everything, who do we think is going to be Trump's VP? Is that what the question was?
Yep.
Yes.
I know who I think.
Hey, thank you for the phone, Warrior.
No problem. You're welcome.
I'll let you go first. Who do you think Trump's VP is going to be?
Why do I have to go first? That's the question. Oh, him? Yeah, go Warrior.
No, Rev, you can go first. That's fine. It's fine.
No,
Yeah,
I
go
don't
for
want
it.
to go first. That's the point. I want to hear
No,
everybody else.
Warrior.
Oh, okay. Warrior. Okay, I'm going first because I'm
Okay.
at top and I'm to his left, so I'm going to go
Mr.
first.
The Garden.
I honestly at this point don't know. There's a lot of talk. Salty's been saying that Tulsi Gabbard may be a good VP pick for him because she is an independent. She has been out of politics for at least a couple of years. She's a veteran. She fits all the she's right enough not to be called a rhino, but she also has some social aspects of her that are generous towards certain. She has a logical brain, I guess, and so she
Yeah.
thinks that she's a little softer on some issues and she's a little harder on other issues. But honestly, man, I don't know. I honestly do not know who he's going to pick. It's going to be a Zionist for sure. I know that.
Well,
It's going to be somebody who it is. It's going to have to be. It's going to be somebody who is goes a lot is going to be because of Pence's positions and position that he was in last time. He's going to have somebody a little more. Someone with a little more fortitude, a little more gumption, a little more outspoken, not so Bill Clintonish like when he's speaking in his facial features, and pretend to be so fake when he's praying and everything else. It's going to be someone like that. It's going to be Tulsi Gabbard. She does fit a lot of that. Plus, she's a woman. That's a big thing right there. She's a strong, independent woman who was a veteran. Was a combat pilot veteran. Well, not combat pilot. She flew fighter jets, but she's also a veteran. So she fits a lot. She hits a lot of boxes along the way, but I don't know if she hits the ones that Trump is looking for, because I don't think he's going to be looking for a yes man or a yes woman, but he's going to be looking for someone who has extreme loyalty to him and only to him, and not the party, not the family, there it's going to have to be loyalty to Trump. And it's true. It's going to have to be because he thought he had loyal people his first go around and his second go around. And what happened in his first go around? Those individuals were just stumbling in front of him the
Well,
entire time.
Mike Pence wasn't his pick. Mike Pence was picked for the evangelical vote because everybody thought that he was just the squeaky clean, former Indiana.
But then you look into him, he's just as dirty as the rest of them.
Oh, he's probably dirtier.
Yeah, and
I won't meet
he
a
puts on
woman
that
unless my wife is
veneer.
present. Bullshit on him.
He almost reminds me of when who's that evangelist that said that I sinned and I'm sorry.
Oh, Jim Baker.
Jim Baker, yeah. The big TV evangelist, yeah. That's
I
what he
have
reminds me.
sinned.
Yeah, and he starts crying on command. I'm like, dude, you're not above anybody else. Stop your self-righteousness.
To tell you the honest to God's truth, I don't think that Tulsi Gabbard would be that great of a choice because she's literally a Democrat. Even though she does tick a lot of boxes, like you said, she's still a Democrat.
True. Well, Trump was a Democrat too at one time.
Right, but she didn't change affiliation from Democrat to Republican. She did it from Democrat to independent.
Right. So
the party.
That's why I mean, Tulsi Gabbard, like I said, and what Salty said, she hits a lot of boxes.
Yeah.
But I think it's going to be somebody who's a little higher and the food chain, to be honest. And it could be somebody not even associated with politics at all. It could be somebody completely outside, so that they're not being influenced from somebody who's already been in the machine long enough.
Yes.
To influence it, because we all know his first presidency, he was very influenced by the people around him.
Yep.
And that's why I question and I am cautious about those individuals who were around him during his 2020 and the ones that are around him right now in 2024. I question those individuals. I question those motives. So do I honestly okay, so if history repeats itself, I'm going to say that he doesn't actually get to pick his VP. That's who I'm going to say. I mean, he doesn't really have a say. It's going to be like a Pence guy. Like, where the hell did this guy come from? Who is this dude? It's going to be one of those. It's going to be someone from outside, supposedly outside the system, but still works within the system, still receives money from big pharma or lobbyists,
What if it's a dynasty pick?
What if? Yeah.
What if? Cause
that'll tell a lot of Trumpers what's going on.
One of my favorite followers over here uses the name Jus Sanguinis, which is Latin for the law of blood, which I absolutely adore. If you understand the legal argument that goes behind the law of blood, then it's a pretty astounding name. But anyway, she says that. What if it's Trump Jr.? What if it is like literally a dynasty pick?
I don't think that he would put his kids through this again.
I think Trump Jr. is a warrior. I think he would adore doing it. Honestly, I don't know, but I agree with you too. No father would willingly put his kids in, but
yeah, I don't think so. But I mean, that would be great though.
That's not who I think it's going to be. I just think that's an amazingly amusing idea, because I mean, think about it. For us as content creators and streamers, like, how astounding would it be to have Trump and Trump Jr.? I mean, the media content that would flow behind that, we would all have to just give up sleeping and just stream 24/7 to cover the amount of bullshit that would flow from that.
Yeah. Okay, Spaz, who do you think that? Oh, who do you think?
I really have no answers.
No.
I don't really know. I mean,
it's a hard call this early.
If I had to guess, oh man, I don't know.
I know who I think it's going to be.
Yeah, I don't know.
I was just reading Jim Bob's post there. It says that Marco Rubio, I don't think he has the
Nope.
moxie or the spine.
No,
No, I don't
it's not
think so
going to be.
either.
I guarantee
Yeah.
you, it's not going to be Rubio.
No, I don't
Little
think
Marco
so.
Rubio, little Marco, little
Little
Marco,
Little
Rubio's
hands.
history
little
isn't
hands.
of loyalty. I don't think, a lot of people are throwing around JD Vance, but I don't think it's going to be JD Vance. And,
No.
and not because he wouldn't be a good pick or Byron Donalds or anybody else. There'll be good picks. But the reality is that we need our Warriors in the House and Senate, too. We can't be taken away where we need them the most.
That's
and
true.
where they're the strong. We can't take our strongest Warriors out of the battle to come up to leadership. We need them there. And that's
you
just
heard
the
what they
hard
said?
reality of it. What we need
Wednesday or
is
Thursday.
somebody who understands, and I this is why I think it's going to be the person I think it's going to be, is because we need somebody who understands in the economic toilet bowl that our country has become. Everything's swirling and on its way down. The dollar's going down, everything else, the housing market's crashing, all of it. Like, it's on its way. When we reach the precipice and we start going down the other side, that roller coaster, it's going to go down quick.
Yeah.
This path that Bidenomics has set us on because we're doing so damn great. I don't think so.
Well, you notice they don't use that anymore. They don't say Bidenomics anymore.
Well, I know, but you know what? They got to take credit for what they took credit for.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. If we're looking for people with the understanding and ability to get shit done on paper, not people that, because Trump doesn't need anybody that can tell stories in front of a microphone. We got a whole bevy of people that'll do that. We got a whole bunch of people that'll give you, the political soap opera, and that's all well and good, but that's not what we need when it gets time to get serious. And it's somebody who would also appeal to the black and brown vote as well. Ben Carson.
That was going to be what I was going to say. But I think Ben Carson, with his vast amount of experience, would do well as Secretary of Health and Human Services.
Yes.
And
Well, I think that
not
Ben
only
Carson
because
did no matter what.
not
You're
only
right.
because he's a doctor, but because his specialty is children. and I think that he can.
Not the same as Biden's specialty being
No.
completely different specialty.
He's a surgeon.
Yeah.
And I think that
He fixes children.
yes, he fixes children. And I
Biden
think
breaks.
that he would have allies in the House of Representatives because there are, I think, like 3 doctors. Like Rand Paul is a surgeon.
Right.
That can kind of straighten out the fucked up Health and Human Services Department right now that Joe Biden's diversity hires are doing. That's the only reason why I would want Ben Carson.
Yeah.
And because of what he said during the 2016 election. And the 2020 election. His policies were actually pretty damn good. But I'd rather have him in that position than a VP position.
Right.
I do agree with Salty Nuts when he said Tulsi Gabbard, woman of color, veteran, she's hot, yada, yada, yada,
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah. Anybody but Ramaswamy. Anybody but that guy. I'm not. JD Vance. Jim Bob said JD Vance. But we also have to remember JD Vance is only in the position that he's in because he's the ultimate ass sucker.
Yeah.
He was a never Trumper who became a Trumper.
Yeah.
I don't trust him, but whatever.
Never granted that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
Vader 369.
I wanna take a turn because I think over here in my chat I got a young man calls himself Dad at Home
Oh yeah, I know that.
52. 52 because that's probably his address. He's too young to be 52. But he says, what difference does it make? There was fraud in 2020 and there's going to be voter fraud in 2024. Therefore, there will not be an election this year. And I have to, I mean, on many levels, I agree with him. They're gearing up for the same level of bullshit or even more. And I even alluded to it, even in my own county, they're already doing it, which I'm sick to my stomach that it's happening right here in front of me. They're not going to like me this year, and I may end up in jail. I mean, not that I'm going to commit any crimes, but I'm obnoxious enough on my reporting. I know all these people personally, and so I'm going to be there.
I don't know. There's a lot of people say. What?
Oh, just what Salty said. JD Vance wears more eyeliner than Tulsi.
Oh yeah, he does. That there's not going to be an election. There's not going to be an election. They're going to suspend the election. They're not going to.
No,
suspend
they're gonna bulldoze it with so much garbage and bullshit like they did 2020.
Why did they do that?
Now we're seeing them gear up in all of these states. You know, the same garbage as before. That it looks like they're going to try to bulldoze even more bullshit than they did last time. And I don't.
So what does that tell you?
They're desperate.
If they're going to spin up all that shit and try and steal the election again, what does that tell you?
They're absolutely desperate. They have nothing else.
No, it doesn't tell you that they're desperate.
That they're
You know
willing
what
to
it
burn
tells
this
you?
nation down.
I'll tell you exactly what it tells you. It tells you that your vote counts. Because if your vote didn't count, why bother with all that shit?
Right. Well, my argument to all of it, or my point of view, whatever you want to call it, would be since we see them. I mean, they're openly saying that they're gearing up. They're going to try to let the illegals vote. They're going to try to, they're pushing more of these ballot boxes, and some states they're going way the hell overboard with it. Well, then my answer to that is everybody get together, hang out by the ballot boxes, and anybody that looks like they might be illegal or whatever else, let them see you. Let them see you paying attention. You know what? Start pushing back. Show up at the polls. Sign up to be a poll watcher. Stand outside the polls. Let them see everybody getting pissed off. Let them see everybody paying attention. Let them see that they're not going to pull this off without notice, that they're not going to be so secret this time around. I think 2020, everybody was incredulous and in shock. And that's why a lot of people didn't really do anything. I think this time around, somebody's liable to get their ass whipped. And I'm not saying anybody should or shouldn't do anything. I'm just saying that America's pissed off this time around.
Yeah. And just remember, in 2020, we thought things were going really good.
Yeah.
Besides the COVID shit. Yeah. So, of course, Trump's going to get reelected.
Yeah.
A lot of us didn't show up to the polls.
What happened? No, I don't think so. I think a lot of people did show up, but I think there was a lot of stealing, and we proved that in a couple isolated cases. But nothing happened. There was no judgment on it. There was no ramifications. There was no consequences for their actions. And I think that's where a lot of people are coming from is because of what happened in 2020. And then if you look at it, and you look at, the Wayback Machine, and we have stuff in 2018, 2016.
No one was
saying
held
about,
accountable.
like where and Democrats coming out saying these voting machines are mechanical, and this program, this software can you can change votes. Like no, Senator, the program is already the software is already programmed to change votes at a certain time. For that fractional voting, and this is from experts. We didn't need Chauvin Pulitzer to come out and just say, "I want the artifact." And where's that guy at now? Where the fuck is he at? He disappeared.
Yeah, well, a lot of.
But anyways, I and this is where I'm like, I have a hard time believing that our vote counts, is because we still have Dominion voting machines and software in over half the states. Our voting rolls maybe clean up in a few states and a few areas. But not nothing from our local to federal, anywhere, shape, or form, or our even the dog catcher election. All of those are rigged.
That's why they
It
rolled
is.
out the trash can, because they need a place to put all the Trump votes. They're not going to count.
Maybe that's why we got wheel carts here, huh?
There's
Yeah.
going to be a lot of them.
Wow.
Okay,
Jeez
so
Louise.
let me ask a question, and because there's a lot of speculation about what's going to happen, and I don't think any of us know what's going to happen, because it's all like one big, game plan anyway. But who thinks that Joe Biden is going to be forced out in the next 100 days?
I mean, I've already said it on your show.
We'll let Spaz go first.
Yeah.
Okay, when you say forced out, do you mean push down a flight of steps?
I knew you were going to say that.
And how we force that, right?
Just asking.
Wait.
What a cold.
Push down steps, or just go ahead and let him fall down the
Just
steps.
let him fall down the steps
Let
himself.
him let Jill just release his hand and watch him fall gracefully.
Yeah.
Put a picture of a nice smelling kid at the bottom of the steps or something.
An ice cream
Oh,
cone that
oh,
smells
oh.
like children. How
Yeah,
about
ice
that?
cream
And
cone?
God.
yeah, that
Yeah.
smells like kids.
Right down the steps.
That'll work.
But in all seriousness, I mean, apparently, the Democrats can't win with Joe Biden. Do you
No,
think?
they're going to have to remove him.
Okay, we'll
gonna
start
have
with you first.
Yeah,
tell
I'll go first. I'll set the tone here.
Okay.
I think that they're going to have to, since the debate, I've been hearing a lot about purposely watching a lot of clips from the other side of supposedly the other side of the narrative. And you're right, Spaz. They are sweeping the freaking leg here. We have. I'm just reading an article from the Gateway Pundit. Top neurologist tells NBC Biden has classic features of Parkinson's disease. I could diagnose him from across the mall. All right, cool. Well,
Yeah.
I know of 10 people off the top of my hand, excluding my mother, who when Joe was on the campaign trail, my mother goes, that man has dementia.
Yep.
Because she used to work with dementia patients.
You can see it on their face. Yep.
She's like, you can see it. She told me you can see it in his eyes and the times that he gets loud, he gets angry. And I said, oh, well, I didn't know that. She goes, yep, absolutely. He has dementia. This was 4 years ago, people. 4 years ago,
Yeah.
we've known this man has a mental disorder, and they've been abusing this old man.
Before
entire time.
he was elected, yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's early signs on
Or installed.
before he elected. Maybe that's why they have 4 different versions of Biden.
Well, I honestly think that
I don't
Biden has been a patsy all the way back. Do you know Biden has been in office in politics since literally the year I was born?
72.
Yep.
Yeah.
I was
He's-
born in
he's been
October
a-
of 72,
he's
and
been
he has
a
been
known
in
liar the
office.
entire time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
In
known liar,
1984
thief, everything. It's just crazy.
Yep. In 1984, when Ronald Reagan gave his time to choose speech, that he talked about his time to decide, do you want to be a nation of liberty or a nation of, Marxist retardism? I don't think he framed it quite like that, but that's still the implication. He was literally referring, when he was saying that this Marxist trash retards are taking over the Democrat Party, he was literally referring to Pelosi and Biden and Schumer and
Mhm.
what was the other one? Green, who's dead now. I think it was Green. There's a handful of them. Those were the guys, the ones that are the problem now. And Nadler's big chunky ass came along not too long after that. Nadler came along in the 80s. He's part of that same group of, and boy, if you look at some old video of Nadler, that dude used to be rotund.
Yes, I did, Jim Bob.
I mean,
Yeah.
rotund.
No, I did not. Sorry.
Yeah. But
Yeah, no, he used to be a big boy, real big
Yeah.
boy.
Yeah. But you see, what I said in my show a couple days ago is that if they force Biden out because of his age, so on and so forth, you're looking at people like Jerry Nadler, who's in his 80s. Nancy Pelosi, who's 83. Chuck Schumer, who's 81. I mean, you got people in wheelchairs. They're too old to fucking stand up.
Yeah.
They will all
RGB
be
was
forced out.
RBG was dead for a month before she got kicked out.
Oh, at least a month.
Yeah,
Shit.
Diane
I'm thinking, well, I can hear.
Feinstein, her daughter, was making decisions for her for half a year before they finally kicked her out.
Oh, yeah.
But
they're looking at it that way, in my opinion, because if they can force the president out because he's old, what can they do to the rest of us?
Yep.
And then you have what? No grip on the country anymore. And then they don't want the AOCs to be in charge of this shit.
Squads.
Could you fucking imagine that?
Yeah.
Yep.
Which is weird because why has the newer generation of Democrats or the left, quote unquote, the left, why are they in a state of they don't know what's going on? They can't figure out, they can't plan worth the shit. The people they're putting up for candidacy are completely anti-American, actually what we believe in our true values to be. And they have these individuals literally have nothing to offer because they've been wrapped in scandalous bullshit, and they have a Twitter account. So, and we can see this. We've seen this for, I don't know, what, 8 years now, guys. We've seen this shit. You keep going on, and people get older, and the same actors are there, and everything else. It's just it's.
I think they've been this way, the way that you were talking about anti-American, yada yada yada, a long time. It's just because we have access to immediate information now that we know about it.
Yeah, and there's so many people out there looking out for it.
Yeah, there's a lot of people who are sitting in the House of Representatives and in the Senate that are in their 80s that were fucking communists back in the 80s.
Yep. Look at who is it? Bernie Sanders.
Exactly.
A known communist. And
he's 82 years old.
Bernie Sanders was kicked out of a commune
for being lazy.
Out of a commune for standing around bitching and not pulling his fair share of the weight.
Yeah.
But and that's the problem. A lot of these retards, they played communist, back in the 60s, free love, man, free love, just smoke a doob, man. And what they were doing was living in a house together and stealing shit from their neighbors. They weren't communists, they were just retards. And now they have this idea. That's where they come up with this idea that, this new, socialist Democrat shit, it's going to be way better than any socialist Democrat in history because we're going to sing Kumbaya and we're going to hold hands and we're going to roast marshmallows and we're going to tug on each other's wieners. Everything, man.
Exactly.
It's going to be super duper friendly. And then they all come out and say, oh, yeah, by the way, everybody who doesn't agree with me, I want to kill you. That's,
what you do is, and I do this quite often when I go into TikTok live streams to try and debate these children, is ask them, can you tell me one country in one period of history that either socialism or communism has worked to the advantage of the people?
There's never actually been an example of communism.
That's exactly right. But they don't know that. They know the bullshit lines that they get fed by people like Bernie Sanders, that they say that, well, it's just the most wonderful thing. But they don't do any research or figure out that true Marxist communism, Lenin's communism, has never been implemented, ever, not even in Russia.
Well, it's an impossibility. Communism on paper, and that's the only place it does exist, is still a farce at best. If you read Karl Marx, first and foremost, if you read Marx's words, you realize before everything else, that Marx was fundamentally retarded. And I don't say that as hyperbole or anything else. I mean, there's just some things that his stupid little brain couldn't grasp. That's just the reality of it. But the other thing is that the naivety of all these little socialist retards and all these people that think communism is going to work, it's always the same game with these people is they always negate or omit the reality of humanity, the human condition. They always overlook that. They
It's a
always
small
have this
thing.
naive idea that humans are going to do everything that we say we should do. Everybody's going to do that, and we're going to hold hands and tug on each other's wieners, and it's going to be so special. But it never works out. The human condition is that assholes will always be assholes. Trying to control humans is like trying to herd cats, and trying to control large groups of humans is like trying to herd cats across a river.
Yeah.
There is no can of tuna big enough to make that dog hunt. It ain't gonna work.
I mean,
Holy shit.
you're absolutely right about Marx's book. Number one. It started out good. I don't know if you actually read it?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so you know it started out real good. And then it got really stupid.
Well, it's like Bernie Sanders. It's
Yeah.
great to point out all the problems and who we can blame the problems on. And then we get to the idea of the solutions to those problems, and we realize, okay, this guy's smoking crack long
It's
before
all
they
babble.
were crack. How did he do that?
Yeah. It's all babble, basically.
Yes, he was.
and what
sniffing
they did
children's
was
buttholes instead of
They
thinking.
tried to base a society off of that babble. And it
And
didn't
it's
work.
astounding. It's astounding to me when you look through history how many of the intellectual communists are so intellectual. They can't think shit out completely, but they're so intellectual.
Yeah.
How many of them coincide with pedophilia? Like they're all diddlers.
Oh,
Like
I
throughout
agree.
history, you start following the side history. You look at the side history, the little stories that they don't include with the big stories, and you realize every one of these people are degenerates and rapos.
Yeah. Everybody read Duppy's post that he just put in the chat. And it tells you why Marx did what he did.
Yeah. Well, Karl Marx was also a Jew.
Of course he was.
So I mean, just let's just put that out there as well. He probably started a lot of the Bolshevism, and it was ideal with that type of, because he's old enough to be in that time frame, and I wonder if a lot of his learnings and his teachings came from that, then to bring on the the so-called communist revolution.
Oh, I
He
think
sat
so.
around. He sat around in bathhouses and coffee shops, talking to other people about big
Playing with his ding
ideas,
dong.
about things that they have never experienced.
That's right.
And it's the same thing with the progressives. The progressives, communists, socialists, fascists are all the same group of people. And it's this idea that, I can figure it out on paper, therefore I know everything. So these people think they know everything about steelworking because they read a book about steelworking, but they didn't take 5 minutes to go talk to the actual steel workers. And they think they're going to come in and control everything. That's the issue with these morons, is they were stupid enough to believe their own thoughts. That's really the biggest picture right there.
Yep. You notice, well, I don't know if you notice, but how many people during that time period, late 1890s to the 1930s, that made their rise through that time, started out in beer halls, places where they were making little speeches, being told where to go, who to talk to, and what to say. It's amazing how the dictators like Benito Mussolini started out that way.
Hold on.
And Hitler started out that way. And Marx and Trotsky started out that way.
Hey, look, I'm ready to be a dictator. I got my
Mhm.
microphone. I can yell at people now.
Yeah.
Do
It
what I
almost
say
seems-
or else.
It almost seems like there was a book written. This is how you become a dictator.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really sad that you can watch history repeat itself over and over and over again. And then nobody questions it.
That's the biggest thing about it right there. You hit the head right on the nail. These patterns, and this is what I keep talking about on my show too. And you know that if you watch my show, Pete, we talk about
Yeah.
patterns. I'm kidding.
Oh yeah.
I'm kidding. We actually had that conversation.
Yes, we did.
These patterns of behavior, you know, even in the good book, it says there's nothing new under the sun. And that is absolutely true. You know, technology has advanced. You know, we're living in a different world today than we were living in, 2,000 years ago.
Yep.
And at the very same time, we're living in exactly the same world that we were living in 2,000 years ago, because humanity has not advanced. The human condition has still always been the same. We are monsters. We are monsters. We are a double-edged sword. One side of that sword can be used for good. The other side of that sword can be used for evil. And that's the way it's always been. That's the way it's always going to be. And the truth is that we commit these same exact retarded patterns of behavior. And once you study them, you realize like it is retarded. Like everybody thinks that they're somehow mysterious and complex. Like most people, when you talk to them on the street, they're like, "Oh, you don't know me.
Stop posting
You don't
links in
know
my
me."
chat.
And the reality is that we all do know each other. We're all each individually committing the same
2,000 years ago.
battle.
Right? 2,000 years ago.
Yeah.
What did the Romans do to placate to the people? To keep the people distracted,
Built coliseums.
right? Bread and circuses.
Well, that and said, okay, now it's okay to keep little boys for slaves and do really weird shit to them.
Well, I'm just saying, right? They would give them the gladiatorial games to
Give them bread at the
give them
games.
bread. Yeah, bread and circuses.
Wow. While they
Fast
were
forward.
starving everywhere else, while they were controlling their food and starving them everywhere else. If you come to the Coliseum, man, we got people handing out big loads of bread. You can
That's
get a
right.
big load. You can get rye. You can get pumpernickel. You can even get some of
Distraction.
that brand shit that nobody likes. But you can have that too.
Distraction. Fast
Yeah.
forward 2,000 years. Bread and circuses.
Yep.
Right here.
Everything coming off of social media, everything coming
Right
off
there.
the news is all
That's
just
your bread and circuses.
Yep. Look
Yep.
over here, not here. Think
Exactly.
of this while we pluck all your feathers off of you and let you run around
Yep.
in agony and pain. But here's some crumbs for you, just so you forget about the pain just a little bit. Holy crap, people! Come on, wake up.
Yeah.
That's the thing that frustrates me with all of this is to me, I don't consider myself as any way exceptional. I am what you would call an imposter. I understand that I'm an imposter and that I don't know anything. I understand that deep inside my brain, I am slap damn retarded. So understanding that I'm retarded, I just go and look a little bit because I don't want everybody to know that I'm retarded. I don't want everybody to know that I'm an effing idiot. So I go and look and pay attention at things so that I don't let everybody know that I'm an idiot. And but I mean, I'm being real. This is how I see myself. I don't think I'm exceptional in the slightest. And I get a lot of people that are like, "Well, Rev, you know so much, man. You're so educated and learned it." And I'm like, "No, I'm not. I just went and looked because I know I'm not." And it astounds me that, like, for me, it was so easy to go look at this stuff. It was so easy for me to read these articles. And let's be real, when you start digging into some of these history stories, man, that's your best soap opera right there. Like Days of Our Lives, baby. It's all right there. You got the intrigue, you got the backstabbing, you got who's sleeping with who's stealing whose money, who met who behind the barn out back, all of that stuff. All the good stuff that we love in movies is right there in the history book. So I find it astounding that nobody is doing the same thing I'm doing and nobody sees what I see. Well, I can't say nobody, but you know what I'm saying. Very
Well,
few
because
people.
in today's day and age, they don't want people knowing true history. Because if they wanted to, if they didn't want us to know, if the children that are growing up knew true history, January 6th would have been a whole different ball game.
Uh-huh.
They would be marching on the capitals of every city in every state, including DC, right now.
Yeah.
That's why over the last 30 years, they've decided to not teach history, because the true history, we're already past it. We're already past the point of revolution and overthrowing. We're past it.
Yeah. Our founding fathers actually expected us, if you read their journals, like their private writings, they actually expected us to have revolution like once every 20 years. They didn't expect us to go 200 plus years without a revolution.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
I don't
Yeah.
think they can let us do that anymore because of the population that we have. You let it go 20 years,
Yeah.
you got 2 billion more people.
People forget about it. Again, the bread and circus. It
Yeah.
distracts people.
Bread and
It's
circus, bread
designed
and
specifically,
Hey,
specifically designed for them not to understand what's going on. Specifically
Yeah.
designed to keep them confused. Specifically designed to keep them in the shadows and activists and not actually educated individuals.
mhm.
You know, there's a reason why a vast majority of people in the United States are dumb. Is for design. I mean, the phrase goes, I'm paraphrasing here, but an educated populace is the most frightening thing to a tyrannical government, and
Amen.
that's true.
Right
That's
there.
true
That
for
part.
everyone, and that's true for everyone. And
That
our
part. Hold
and,
on.
go ahead, yeah.
Thank you.
I have my
you.
moments of clarity. Thank you.
Thank
I do.
you.
You know, I'll get the wave out. So
And I believe that
There you
that's
go.
the reason why.
Get your
Right there is the
princess
reason
wave
why.
out.
That the first thing that needs to be done is get rid of the Board of Education, the education department,
So
and leave it up to the parents.
I got a little inside information for you on that as well. You want to hear something that is friggin' astounding to me?
Sure.
The National Association of Education, the Board of Education at the national level, the federal government, top of the top, is not a government entity. It's actually a 501c3. We're pumping billions of dollars through a privately owned 501c3 that by law is only required to use 10% of the money that it takes in towards its stated target. The other 90%, it can do whatever it wants with.
What department is this?
Education.
The Department of Education?
Yeah. The
How is that
national-
possible?
Look it up.
Really?
I was astounded when I found out too. I'm like, this has to be bullshit. You would think that would belong to the federal government, but it doesn't. Just like the IRS doesn't belong to the federal government, the Federal Reserve doesn't belong to the federal government.
Yep.
The petrodollar that we all love so much doesn't belong to the government either.
No, it belongs to the Fed.
But we belong to the government.
Yeah, for some weird reason.
We're government mules, every one of us.
we are considered property with our all capital lock letters, our
Yep.
birth certificate.
Hey, I type in caps because I can't see that good.
Well, maybe that's the reason why they did it too. Like,
Yeah, I'm sure.
can't see this very well. Let's just
I
type it.
just like hanging out in Caps Lockistan. It's one of my favorite places. Pisses people off, but it's still fun there.
Wow. Thank you for checking that, Randy. It's not that I didn't believe him. It's just I never heard of that before. I thought that, well, I know. Of course, you know the Fed is not a federal institution, but I didn't think the Department of Education wasn't.
Imagine
so what the hell
that.
are we funding it for?
Imagine that.
Okay, my brain is what is that?
Imagine if we actually followed this.
Constitution.
It's not us who need to follow it. It's on us to enforce it.
Yes. Well, I'm saying us as the big general us. But yes, if we followed, most people don't know this, and some people may not like hearing it. I don't know, but whatever. I'm going to say it anyway. That we get the concept of we the people from God's law, from God's word, that we were designed to govern ourselves. We were built to govern ourselves, to lead ourselves. And if we would all follow that law, the rest of it falls in line. all of it falls in line. If we were to unify as a nation, as a people, not as a government nation, not as, the federal government or the United States of America, because it really doesn't care what government we have. We could flush the United States of America completely. But if we could unite as a people, if we could be we the people again, unstoppable, ungovernable. A lot of these podcasters throw around that term, be ungovernable. Well, that's how you be ungovernable. Don't go out and do shady shit. Unite with your brothers and sisters. Take back the power from your government. That's what ungovernable means.
I agree
Don't make
with
me
that.
preach up in here.
Yeah. But most people don't know, I guess, how to be ungovernable.
No, they're too used to being kept.
Yeah.
The first thing you need is responsibility. Can't be
Yes.
ungovernable without responsibility.
Personal accountability, personal responsibility. Responsibility to our brothers and sisters, that we recognize each other as brothers and sisters and not just people that happen to be in the way of what we want. Because too many people do that now. And I'm watching, even now in my local community, so many of these people call themselves conservatives, and yet so many people are ready to bicker with each other over the dumbest damn things.
Yeah.
They have no tolerance for each other. They have tolerance for all the evil that we're not supposed to be tolerating, but they don't have tolerance for their own brothers and sisters to think a little bit different or to not necessarily agree on every aspect of our ideas.
To me, what it seems like is everybody's looking for a legacy. And what I mean by that is nobody gives a shit about the cause. Nobody cares about fucking Palestine. Nobody cares about Ukraine. Nobody cares about any of that shit. All they want to do is to say, well, back in, the 2020s, I was one of those guys that were protesting against Palestine or against Israel or against Ukraine or against this.
I was one of the cool kids. Yeah.
I was one of the cool guys. That's what I think that they're looking for is a legacy, and they don't give a shit about actually solving a problem or joining a cause or uniting. That's just what I think.
Some people
I agree.
Some people think we need a leader too. And I don't think we need a leader.
I don't think so either.
I think we need a good set of fucking ideas and to follow through with them.
Yep.
That way we don't have to argue about it.
Too many people see a leader and an icon as interchangeable ideas, but that's really not it. Many people say we need a leader. They say, well, we need an icon to rally around. We need this person, this great hero to rally around. But what we really need is we need many leaders. We need many leaders. And by leaders, I mean people who will influence and inspire. Not stand up and manage, because manage is where you tell, hey, you go over there and you go over there. We don't need managers. We need people to say, hey, you can do it. Hey, you are worth more. Hey, we're better together. Hey, I'll get out on the dance floor so that maybe you'll be inspired to come out on the dance floor with me too. That's the kind of leaders we need in this world.
Yeah. In World War II, specifically in the Battle of Stalingrad, where hundreds of thousands of Russians died, civilians and soldiers. It wasn't get out there for Stalin. It wasn't get out there, to save your village. It was get out there to protect the motherland.
Yeah.
And they came from the Caucasus to go to Stalingrad and fight the Nazis to protect the motherland. That was their uniting cause. Not a person, not a man, not anybody.
They were centered around a cultural identity.
That's right.
a
their
national
culture.
identity, which the United States doesn't have now. We've lost our national
took it.
identity, man.
You took the words right out of my mouth.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say that.
That's one of the things, by the way, that's one of the things that Putin, you know, a lot of people like to knock Putin, and I don't think that he's our friend or anything like that, but the guy is phenomenally wise, not just smart, but wise, because I listened to his speech. I mean, some of his domestic speeches still show up on YouTube right now. You know, it's all still coming. So it's right there. Watch it. And the thing is that's some of the things that he talks about is a morally homogenous society with a shared cultural identity is going to be more unified than any other. Right. Any other variation that you could think of is not going to be as strong and strong-willed as a group of people who are on the same page together. And that's the basic foundational idea of what I keep trying to preach for in my content. Although it's hard. It's hard because, I mean, even for me, when I get on social media, some of these, like on X, some of these people, man, they just, they hit you with something that's just so shitty and retarded that like you just can't help but throw it back in their face.
You got to shake your head.
But the thing is that action and reaction is happening over and over again. And that's part of what's keeping us separated from each other is this love of contention, and it's pointless.
So who's telling us that Putin is a bad guy?
Television.
The bad guys.
The television.
Yeah.
Right?
Our media.
Why are they telling us that Putin's a bad guy?
Because he's a good guy.
We pay them to do that.
Right? Because the media and the federal government needs an enemy.
Yep. Or more specifically, their prostitutes and their handlers need an enemy.
Right? Like you said, some of the domestic speeches that Putin gives rallies his people because he's speaking about the motherland and about uniting as one country under one identity, where you have this country who wants to unite under the LGBTQ PRSTV community, chicks with dicks community.
On the STD.
Yeah. We have no sense of ourselves from top to bottom. None. And this is why we can be defeated as easily as we can.
Yep. And quick public service announcement, people. Stay away from lefties. Lefties have herpes.
That's a public service announcement. Yes.
No shit.
Yeah, watch out for that monkeypox too.
Yes.
And
by the way, the left now wants you to know that they have a new and improved COVID test, which you can now take online.
Oh, no shit.
Oh, wow.
That's cool.
You just lick the screen.
You lick, you wasn't saying you just.
That's it.
Lick your mouse. Is it good?
You have to use a touch screen.
Yeah.
You have to use a touch screen.
I touched my screen.
Are people beating up on Randy in the chat? That's okay, though.
It's okay. It's pretty easy to do.
He
So.
probably deserves it.
I'm sure he can take it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me pose. This will probably be the last question of the night. It'll take this much time, but let me pose a question to you guys. When they force Joe Biden out of office and make Kamala Harris the president of the United States, run her against Donald Trump, who's going to be your VP pick?
Mophead.
Oh, shit.
You mean Black Raggedy Ann?
Yeah, because she can take the narrative right up her ass and just spew it out all over anybody.
I think
it's got to be someone of color, right? It's got to be a black person.
I think it's going to be Whitmer.
like Cuomo said, you got to be black, you got to be gay, you got to be disabled.
Well, she's gay.
Yep.
She's
So Bill
gay, and
Clinton-
she sticks corn cobs in her butt. So
I'm thinking
I mean,
maybe AOC. I don't know.
Oh, AOC.
oh
Jesus.
my God, we're done.
I don't
Because-
honestly. I don't
because
really
I
know
heard-
if I care.
I heard this on while I was getting my chemo this morning. I heard somebody actually say this in a podcast, and I'll tell you who after you guys tell me that you're finished thinking who it is.
I'm good.
So
I don't know.
want to think about it.
I don't. Honestly, it sits low on my radar. If I would, well, again, with the Democrats, it doesn't really matter who
Right.
they're going to be somebody who is for everything that most Americans are against, and she's only going to be there, or he's only going to be there to force a narrative. If it's a dude, he's going to be a gay dude. If it's going to be a woman, she's got to be a lesbian. Yeah, exactly. So there's a person. It's got to be a person of color. You can't have a white person up there because Kamala already fits that semi-white person. Either that, or it's the whole narrative that she's a black person and now has a VP who's a white person. But Obama already took care of that. So, I don't know. It's whoever they are going to pick is going to be someone who's going to be easily made fun of. It's going to be a trolling for the entire duration that they're in office, and it's not going to be pretty. It's just going to be. I mean, not to kill a word, but it's going to be a bloodbath. yeah,
that's a good word.
Yeah, it's going to be vicious, and people are not going to be
Pete
nice
Buttigieg.
about it. Oh, Pete Buttigieg. Yeah, the dude can't even lie properly, and say that he rides his bike to work. Okay, I mean the guy hasn't done anything since the East Palestine thing, unless they adopted another child and he's taking another 6 weeks of a sabbatical or vacation.
Chest feeding.
Chest feeding, yes, I forgot. Oh, yeah, that's right. If some people can actually take those drugs and produce the mammary glands and then ooze out whatever sludge comes out of their nipples.
Yeah. Okay.
That's not at all.
So I'll tell you who this person. I'm trying to think of the name of the podcast, but I forgot.
Oh no.
Chunk yogurt.
Crap. Anyway, they were talking back and forth with each other. Barack Obama.
I don't think so.
I don't think he can legally do that, can he?
That's
He can't
what
run for president. Vice president is a non-elected.
Yeah, that's a pick.
Oh, so
Yeah,
he's appointed
but
a
if something
position.
happens, he can't assume the.
Yes, he can.
Wow, that's a constitutional question.
It's constitutionally legal. They amended the Constitution to where the president can only serve 8 years. But he's not serving as the president, serving as the vice president. So if something happens, he's now a new president.
Yeah.
According to what these two guys were talking about.
Okay.
Now,
Okay.
constitutionally, I may have questions about that. But could you imagine Barack Obama being vice president to come Guzzler Harris? She resigns, becomes governor of California. He goes to the presidency for 8 more years. Could you imagine that? And he would just be in his early 70s,
Well, okay, so if we're looking at it in that manner,
late 60s.
if we're looking
Something like
at
that.
possible calls of the Democratic Party, what they can do, what options they have left,
Mm.
I think that's just as viable as Hillary Clinton getting back in. I think it's just as viable as Gretchen Whitmer, Whitmer, whatever hell her name is.
Gretchen
It's just as
Whitmer.
viable. Yeah, it's just as viable as anybody. I think at this point, because the Democratic Party doesn't seem to be going anywhere.
No.
And anyway, they have no direction, and they need to have. They need to in the next 100 days or however long it is until the presidency. The Democratic Party has to show that they have unification. They have more unification than the Republicans do, but I think that boat has already sailed.
So
think so.
I did a little research on the president being vice president question.
Mhm.
The 22nd Amendment, this constitutional amendment states that a president cannot serve for more than 2 terms. Since Barack Obama has already served 2 terms as president, he is ineligible to run for that office again. And the 12th Amendment, according to this amendment, an individual cannot run for the vice presidency if they are not eligible to be president.
But they're not running. They're appointed.
Well, I think the distinction
He's a
is still
civilian.
right. But since a former president would not be eligible to run for president again, they are certainly barred from running for vice president because they could not assume the mantle of president should the need arise.
So there you go.
The 22nd and the 12th, for anybody who wants to look it up.
Constitutionally answered.
I mean, they sounded so adamant about it that I never really thought to look it up because I know it's not feasible. But I thought it was
Well,
an interesting question.
I recognize that I'm a moron, so I
Stop
try
saying
not
that.
to assume.
Stop
true.
saying that.
It's true. Anybody who believes their own thoughts is missing the boat. Don't believe your own thoughts. Check.
No, of course. But stop
And
saying you're
particularly
a
if your
moron.
name is me.
Jeez. All right. Anyway, so does anybody else have anything that they would like to discuss?
No, there was something else in my mind. Oh, did everybody see the video that Joy Reid put out, her little private video?
No.
So in this video, she's bitching and ragging at the Democrat Party. She's saying, "You guys decide who it is. I don't care if it's Biden in a coma, as long as I don't have to vote for Hitler." And she calls Trump Hitler, I think like six or 7 times in this video, and then makes a whole bunch of other claims that we're so far into the realm of factual assertion. In other words, she's asserting this to be facts. And this isn't through the media. This is a private video. She didn't put this out as MSNBC. She put this out as Joy Reid. And I've considered the idea that, I mean, if I was Trump, I would be slapping a lawsuit on this. I can't say woman, whatever it is, Jabba the Hutt. Yeah, I couldn't. But I didn't know if anybody else had seen that video. It was astounding at how fundamentally damaged this woman really is.
Yeah.
Individual, whatever it is.
Yeah. Now, I want everybody to think about this. And I'm not condoning, so nobody send me friggin' emails saying that I'm condoning Hitler, because I'm not. But if you take away Holocaust, look at what Hitler did for the German people. He brought them out of the depression of World War I. After the loss of World War I, he created the Autobahn. He created millions of jobs for jobless veterans. He praised mothers for giving birth to children with rewards. He sponsored state vacations. He designed a car so everybody can have a car for $5 a day. One thing
housing.
after another.
Yeah, he made housing affordable, and
That's
then
right.
gave young families, as the family grew, gave them
Bigger
more
houses.
tax breaks and
Yes.
the ability to move into a larger home and to have
Yep.
a larger family to promote German culture.
That's right.
Yes, and
So
there's nothing. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
no, you're right. If you take away all the bullshit, what Hitler did for the German people after World War One, if somebody did that in this country, well, what they would do is they would try to, I guess, impeach him, arrest him, charge him, so on and so forth. But the incentives that Hitler gave to his people to unify Germany after the depression, the destruction, was unprecedented. It was a small inconvenience of murdering millions of people and then starting a world war that made Hitler such a bad guy. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if everybody follow what I'm saying there,
I do.
There were a lot of good things that
thanks,
came out
Black
of
Mamba. She threw my
that
damn
came
email
out of
address out there.
atrocious people. There's a lot of what we have today. There's a lot of what we have in the medical community. You know, most people don't realize this, but Rockefeller worked hand in hand with Hitler. He was a big supporter of Hitler, and he's even the garbage. Most people don't know this. Joseph Mengele, Dr. Death,
Mhm.
the guy who committed all those atrocities and called them experiments
Yeah,
on Jews as he was killing them off. He got his paychecks from Rockefeller, not
sure did.
from Hitler. And many of the things that he figured out along the way in the world of medicine, though he committed some serious atrocities to do it, are things that have benefited us even today. And it's the same thing most people don't realize, but we get jet engines from the Nazis. We get methamphetamine from the Nazis. Most of America loves that. I mean,
Most
who
of our
wouldn't want to go to work
pharmaceutical
fast?
industry started with the Nazis.
Yes.
What was that?
Most of our pharmaceutical industry started with the Nazis. Our modern day
absolutely.
Yeah,
pharmaceutical making
Rockefeller's
pills and stuff.
Yeah, Rockefeller's idea of how he took over and controlled the medical industry was gotten from
Technically, we wouldn't have made it to the moon if it wasn't
Yeah.
for the Nazis.
well to a
Wernher
TV
von
station
Braun.
where the moon landing was filmed anyway
At least. But the rocketry itself,
on a flat
was from
basketball.
Werner von Braun,
Yeah.
a Nazi engineer.
A Nazi scientists, yeah.
Let's put it this way. The helmet that you wore in combat, warrior, was a German design.
Originally, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, and then it went
You
to more of a bicycle design of Americans. Yeah, but the above the brow, down around the ears, over the ears, and then kind of swoops out from the neck.
Yep.
It's very German designed because the swoop out from the neck actually came from trench warfare.
Yep.
And falling debris, because that was causing a lot of issues. When you have metal and other stuff fall on people's heads, it would also fall on their neck, and it would hurt their neck or decapitate them or whatever.
Yep.
But a lot of people don't, despite what they want to say about the Nazis, most of the things that not most things, but a lot of the things that we in the medical field, the car industry, rocketry industry, militarily, a lot of that stuff, those ideas come from Nazis. And Operation Paperclip, when they came over, when all the records were whitewashed. And so you wonder how many actual Nazis came over, and then how influential you have to ask yourself, how influential were they? Well, what were the Nazis working on before the end of World War One or World War Two? Then all of a sudden we started having these great advances in flight. Our engine capacity, our fuel consumption went down. The fuel ingredients were better, better refined. you name it. A lot of our advances came from those scientists that we brought them over to our
That's right.
and
A lot
you
of
know,
military weapons were
a lot
stolen
of
from the
military.
Nazis.
Yes, a lot of experiments were also stolen from the Nazis. I mean, the list goes on and on. I mean, a lot of our societal, not a lot, but some of our societal advance and some of our a lot of our military advance came from them, and people still they don't even know this. And this happened 60 years, 70 years ago,
Yeah.
less than 100 years ago. And it's
The biggest one that I like
people read your
is
history.
everybody talks about Ukraine, that they need the 155 shells, right? The howitzer shells, the big 155 shells. That gun that they're using was a direct copyright of the 88 millimeter anti-aircraft gun from the Nazis. To this day, some of the same engineering from the German 88 goes into the 155 millimeter cannon. As
Well, if
far
I'm
as
being
gear
honest,
and everything
every
else.
time I used to replace bearings in my axles on my Jeeps was all ordered from Germany too,
Of course.
because they're known for their precision.
Yes, they are.
Absolutely.
You know, that's one thing that most people don't realize when they talk about Nazi Germany is how much they documented, recorded, they measured, weighed, like everything. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if I found out that Germans like weighed their crap every day.
Well, they're,
You know what I
they're,
mean? Like
that's the reason why they say that's the reason why they lost the war, is because the United States had quantity over quality, and Germany had quality
Another thing.
over quantity.
Yep.
So it was no big deal to lose 5 or 6 Sherman tanks to 1 Tiger tank.
Right.
Those were the stats too.
Yeah. So I mean, they would have to take them on 5 to 1, and maybe if they destroyed the Tiger tank, there would be 1 Sherman left.
Uh-huh.
You know, and one of the things that the Germans did a lot was the only thing that they did take from the Americans was the M1 Garand, because most of the German soldiers, a good 90% of them, were using the K98, the Carbiner 98, the bolt action.
Right.
Uh-huh.
And they used to take the M1s, the semi-automatic M1s, off of the dead Americans and use those. But besides that, everything else was superior to American
ingenuity.
technology. Yeah. Anyway, I think I'm going to end this show for tonight. I'm all out of it. I am all out of it. So, and I'm kind of tired. That stuff that they put in me, man, it kind of wears you out the first couple of days that you get it.
Yeah.
And then after that, I'll be fine, but I kind of like feel it all over. It's surging through my body.
Ooh, it's a weird feeling.
It's crazy shit. Anyway, so Warrior, tell us what you got going on for the rest of the week.
For the rest of the week, for sure, I've got tomorrow morning with a Warriors Workshop, which I'll be right over there. And Thursday, I'm gonna be at a human trafficking meeting at 6 o'clock, and then meeting with GI Wingnut after that for a couple beers. So I'm gonna be late to the show on Thursday's show, but I'm gonna do my best to make it. Friday and Saturday, I don't know. I'm gonna do a show, but I don't know which day it is. And then Sunday, obviously, I have my Disconnect Theater, and I think this time we're gonna start going through some of the great trilogies, like Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit, stuff like that. So I think we're not going to do it like back to back to every next 8 Sundays. We're going to be doing that kind of stuff. No, but I think this one will be this Sunday will be a good one to start off with. The Hobbit, The Unexpected Journey, and then go to the Decimation of Smog, and then the War of the Five Armies, and then a couple weeks after that, I'll jump into Lord of the Rings 1, 2, and 3. Because these and it's going to be a long. I'm going to start streaming like at 8 o'clock in the morning your time.
Mhm.
Because these are some long movies. They're
Yes,
all
they
extended
are.
versions. They're all extended versions, so they're all like 3 and almost
Yep.
4 hours long. So it'll be a fun time. But beyond that, anybody can catch me. If you catch me in chat, say hi. If you have any comments, concerns, questions, or anything you want to get off your chest, you can DM me here on Pilled. You can check my bio and see my email, which apparently I need to check more. I need to check my email more.
Mhm.
And then, and obviously, if you guys want to have a private chat, we can do that. Or if you just want to tell me I'm retarded and tell me to fuck off, I'm cool with that too. So, that's just true. I've got a few of those before.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, right. So,
I get them all the time.
yeah, I bet. And so, thanks, Black Mama. Appreciate that. Warrior Mo is on my X account. I get notifications from that, but I'm not on there very much. But beyond that, I'm around. I'm around people. I'm doing my thing. I'm thinking. I'm taking care of. And then Friday morning. This Friday morning or next Friday morning? Sometime on this Friday, I'm gonna go out my garden again, like I did last Friday, and show you guys the progress and the growth of the plants and stuff like that. So, just look for me. Look for my my posts and all that kind of jazz, and you'll find me out there. And Pete, I want to thank you very much for letting
Thank
me
you.
come on your show again. And
Always.
Rev, good to have you. Good to see you. Spaz, I hope he's there. Good to see him, buddy. Yeah. So, all right, everybody, I'm Audi 5000. I'm gonna go take my dogs out and go to bed probably.
All
So,
right.
all
Thank
right,
you, brother. I
guys.
appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
See you
Have a
later.
good night. Bye
Good
bye.
night. All right, Rev, hit us.
So the big thing that I have going on, I mean, I have all the normal stuff, the normal routine of Rev. First, I want to let you know, don't look for me next Tuesday.
Okay.
Next Tuesday, I have a hearing Wednesday on this lawsuit stuff, and I'm putting together some pretty big arguments, a lot of work there. Really been bashing my head against that particular rock. My God, that's a lot to learn. But I think I've got it. I think I've got it. We'll find out. But anyway, tomorrow is the big news. Tomorrow, Wednesday, the 10th, I have Jennifer Pippin from Moms for Liberty is going to be on. I think it's going to be a fantastic show. I have seen this lady before. I have dealt with her and our executive committee and all that. She is a fantastic presenter, orator, all of that. She's highly educated and intelligent. So I think it's going to be a fantastic show.
Are you going to have her on for your whole show?
For the whole show, for the full 2 hours, she's riding with me.
Okay.
And
that's at 6 o'clock.
At 9 o'clock Eastern Alligator
6
time.
o'clock my time.
Yeah, 6 o'clock your time. So yeah, I think it's going to be amazing. I'm excited. I think that the conversation with this young lady is going to be just astounding. And for everybody who doesn't know, Moms for Liberty has officially been listed as the DOJ, publicly as a terrorist organization.
Yeah.
Because this was part of the groups that were standing up as school boards and had the audacity to want to protect their children and be a part of their child's decision making in their education. How criminal are they for that? But yeah, and this organization is growing, and I'm betting almost everywhere any of you are out there, I bet if you look around, there's going to be a chapter of Moms for Liberty close to you. So anyway, point being, check this out. She's got some things to talk about. We have an abortion law that they're trying to pass in Florida, and they're trying to make it seem like it's some sort of reasonable, compromise, and it's not. The letters of the law that they're trying to pass is going to go way too far. They're trying too hard to kill babies, even in our own state. So we'll probably be talking about that a little bit as well. If you're pissed off, fired up, and you want to get in on the information, because information is ammunition. We gotta arm up. If you want to get on that, be there.
That's
Tomorrow
tomorrow night.
9 p.m. Eastern Alligator Time.
Tomorrow night. Now, I may run that on my channel.
Oh, that would be fantastic.
I might simulcast that. So,
Well,
Yeah.
the other thing that I want to say, Pete, is keep your chin up, keep your shoulders square, brother. Keep marching forward.
absolutely.
Love you, Spaz.
Absolutely.
Keep being a legend, brother.
That's all he knows how to do.
I know, right?
Yeah.
He just
one
wakes
legend.
up in the morning and bam, legend.
Pisses excellence.
That's terrible. All right, we'll see you,
like it.
kids.
All righty.
Everybody in the chats, I love you. I appreciate you. We'll see
Thank
you
you
next
so
time.
much. Take it easy. And it comes down to
Yeah.
the man, the myth, the legend, Spazzo Yeti. Brother,
He's here, man.
you're you just exist. But remember, everybody, mandatory Metal Monday. Stop in, give them a blue pill, do what you got to do. Listen to some metal, have a good time. And then the rest of the week, we don't find Spaz. Spaz finds us. Brother, I got nothing but love for you.
I did trim my beard because you did.
Yeah,
the
you
other
did.
day.
Wow.
3
I
inches.
keep doing
lost.
this. I keep doing this. I got nothing there anymore.
I lost 3 inches. I can't loop it around my nipples anymore.
Oh, damn it. That's more information that I needed to know. All right, brother. We'll see you on Thursday.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for the gold pills and being here. And I will talk to you soon.
Much
Thank
love.
you so much.
Rest well.
I will. Bye-bye. All righty, guys. Thank you to everybody from the D Live, the X, and the YouTubes. If I missed anybody on YouTube, like Cindy Duff, Pam M, Mayor, welcome. Goodbye. And also everybody over on Pilled. Thank you so much for all the gold pills, red pills, and blue pills. I'm not going to promise anything for tomorrow. Just going to have to see how I feel. But tomorrow night, I probably will be running Reverend Rant's show starting at 6 o'clock. I'll have a simulcast on my channel. And we can all hang out and watch his interview with the Moms for Liberty lady. So until tomorrow, thank you guys so much for being here. I appreciate each and every one of you. And I will see you tomorrow, one way or another. Until then, have a great night. Bye-bye.